Welcome to this 15-minute evening yoga for better sleep. We're going to start in our child's pose, bottom onto heels and arms stretched out towards the top of the mat. Just taking some deep grounding breaths here before we get into our practice. Inhaling and exhaling, just releasing all the tension within the body. And now we're just going to round into our upward dog and just do this cycle for a few times. Exhaling, coming into our child's pose, and inhaling, rolling the spine up into our upward dog. Rolling back with an exhale into our child's pose, and inhaling, rolling forward into our upward dog. Rolling back into our child's pose, and inhaling into our upward facing dog. Now lifting the knees off the mat and stretching back with an exhale into our first downward dog of the practice. Bending your knees, bringing the heels off the mat, just welcoming some stretches into our legs. Now finding stillness in your downward facing dog, taking some deep inhales and exhales, and rounding now back into our plank and lowering ourselves down towards our mat. Knees, chest, chin, and then lifting up into our easy upward dog. And exhaling, pushing back into our child's pose. And now rolling up into our all fours, coming into our cat-cow. Inhaling, cow, belly lowering towards the mat, and exhaling into our cat, drawing our navel into our spine. Inhale, cow. Exhaling into our cat. Just doing a few more rounds at your own pace. Now we're just going to add in a child's pose. So as you come into your cat, lower down to your child's pose, and then lift up into our cow. Exhaling cat and falling down into our child's pose, rounding our spine back up into our cow. Just continuing this movement at your own pace, letting your body flow freely with the postures and with the breath. And now lowering finally into our child's pose with an exhale, staying here for a few breaths, and then rounding into our upward facing dog with an inhale, and exhaling, coming up into our downward facing dog. Well done. Enjoying this moment now. And if your body calls for it, you can bend your knees, walking out your dog again, just to release any tension. And then finally resting the knees onto the mat and coming back into our child's pose. Exhaling, and with an inhale, lifting our bottom off our heels and stretching our hands out towards the top of the mat, finding ourselves in our puppy pose, making sure your hips are aligned with your knees, keeping your forehead on the mat, or if you want to deepen the stretch, you can place your chin on top of the mat and face forward. Slowly reaching up now and walking our hands back into our tabletop position, and just letting our back neutralize for a little bit before coming and sitting back onto our heels and coming up into a seated pose. Just placing our hands on top of your knees, palms facing up towards the sky, closing your eyes and taking some deep breaths. Bring ourselves onto our knees, we're just going to do a camel pose now. So either reaching your hands onto your heels and opening the back, or if this is too far for you for today, placing your hands on your hips and doing a gentle back bend. Or you can follow me and place your hands on top of your heels, engaging your thighs into this deep back bend and just releasing any tension within your neck. You're doing really well, just another few breaths. If you have to release back into our variation, please do so. This is your body and it's your practice. And now gently lifting up, placing your hands on top of your hips and just gently rolling back up to a straight back and just sitting back down on our heels and just allowing our back to neutralize. That's a very advanced back bend, so whichever variation you took, you should be proud of yourself. And now on your next exhaling, lowering back down into our child's pose. And then rolling our spine up and just bring our legs through and finding yourselves into our butterfly pose. Placing the soles of our feet together and our knees stretched out. Either staying seated upright or lowering our head down towards our feet. Making sure to bend from the hips and never bending from the back. Taking some deep breaths here and being patient with yourself. You may find that with each exhale you can go deeper into the posture. Gently lifting back up now and extending our legs out in front of us, giving our legs a little shake. And now you can either place your hands behind you and keep your back straight, or you can place your hands on your thighs, your shins, or bring your hands around the feet. Coming into our Paschimottanasana, our seated forward fold. You could even use a strap to wrap around your feet and just slowly pulling yourself down, but making sure to not bend at the back and to bend from the hips. Staying here for just a few more breaths, making sure whichever variation you are in, you can relax into it. Slowly coming back up now and just taking your time, readjusting yourself and coming to lie down onto your mat, keeping your knees bent and just bringing your feet closer in towards your bottom. And slowly lifting our hips, coming into our bridge pose. Engaging the glutes and try to lift higher with every exhale. Either keeping your hands beside you or clasping your hands together underneath you. You can also then try and push yourself higher with your hands. If you had your hands clasped together, just release. Just a few more seconds in our bridge pose. And with an exhale, lowering back down to our mat. Bringing our knees into our chest and just swaying side to side, massaging the back. Straightening out the right leg and keeping the left knee into the chest. And bringing the left knee over the right leg and bringing the left arm out towards the side with the gaze following. Finding ourselves in our supine spinal twist. Placing the right hand on top of the left knee to bring it closer to the ground in order to deepen the stretch. Rolling back now and slowly bringing the right leg to meet the left. And now extending out the left leg and bringing the right one into the chest. Bringing it across the left leg to the left side, extending the right arm out and following with your gaze. Placing the left hand on top of the right knee in order to bring the knee closer to the mat for a deeper stretch. Coming back to center. Bending both knees again back into our chest. Rolling side to side again just to release the back. And then grabbing the outsides of our feet and bringing yourself into your child's pose. Either finding stillness or swaying side to side. Releasing your child's pose now and bringing your knees into your chest, and then we're just going to extend our legs up to our posture called legs up the wall. This improves blood circulation, bringing new fresh blood towards your heart and your head, and relaxes the neck and back muscles. It increases relaxation and helps with stress and insomnia. Engaging the core now, and slowly lowering your feet towards the mat and not letting your hips or your lower back come off the mat. And hovering for 3, 2, 1 and releasing your feet down to the mat, finding yourself into your Shavasana. Just taking deep calming breaths and relaxing into a sleepy state, ready to be able to go to sleep after this yoga flow. Allowing yourself to find silence. Slowly wriggling your fingers and your toes, bringing some movement back into your body. Rolling yourself onto one side now, resting your head in your arm. And gently pushing ourselves up into our easy seated pose. Just bringing our hands onto our knees, palms facing up towards the sky, eyes closed. With your next inhale, reaching our hands towards the sky, bringing them down towards our chest with an exhale. With another inhale, reaching our hands above our heads, and with an exhale, lowering them down towards our chest. I wish you a relaxing and a peaceful sleep. Namaste.